Hey everybody, Captain Lou here with another edition of Tigers Daily here on the Fan Arch Network. We invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Tigers Daily. You get all of our great programming live and archived. And all our updates on the Tigers, the good, the bad, the rumors, everything in between. That's right here on Tigers Daily. Happy June, or July rather, the 6th, 2026. It was a great 4th of July weekend for the Tigers. I hope you had a fun one as well. The Tigers finished up a 5-1 road trip. Thanks to a couple of wins on the weekend over the Texas Rangers. Much needed wins over the Rangers as they were holding the third and final wild card spot in this crazy, pathetic, lethargic, call it whatever you want, American League this season. And so now with the wins, the Tigers are back to just 5 games out of that final wild card spot. Coming up later on this week after the day off today, they're going to entertain the Athletics for 3. They're one of the teams ahead of the Tigers as the Tigers look to claw their way back into contention for an American League playoff spot. Let's start with Saturday since we kind of took the weekend off. We're like a lot of people, we're on vacation, but we're going to check in after the end of the road trip for the Tigers as we're up here in northern Michigan, but we kept an eye on the Tigers, that's for sure. Saturday, a 3-0 shutout for the Tigers as Keider Montero got a 3-inning save to take over for Troy Melton, who pitched great through 6 innings of work. Again, Melton, another great outing. A young arm for the Tigers, just what the doctor ordered. Again, the starting rotation's been huge for the Tigers. There's just no getting around it. And they looked fantastic again on Saturday with that 3-0 shutout. Montero with the 3 innings of relief. He gets the save. And another weapon for A.J. Hinch, something to put in his back pocket. A spot starter when they're going to need him in August, should the Tigers still be in the pennant chase. But that being said, he's a big pickup, or a big arm in relief for the Tigers, just what they needed. And then yesterday, Riley Green, he was the star of the show. 3 for 4, a home run, a triple, and a base hit. He came up in the 8th inning looking for the double for the cycle, but they intentionally walked him with a runner on third. They ended up not scoring in that inning, but then Jensen came in the 9th for his 10th save of the year. So the Tigers 6-12-0, I beg your pardon. 12 big hits for the Tigers again on Sunday, something they had to do. Again, it was Casey Mize on the mound for the Tigers. He looked okay. He didn't do too bad. 6 2/3. He got the outs that he needed. He pitched very, very well. Summers came in. He got the strikeout. And then it was Drew Anderson again giving up a home run. But as we mentioned, Kenley Jansen came in to shut the door in the 9th to get the save, the 10th of the year for him. Dylan Dingler with a couple of base hits. McConaughey again got on base. And, the Tigers' bats are warming up. There's no doubt about it. So a big win for the Tigers against the Rangers as they took 2 out of 3 to finish the road trip, like I said, 5-1. A sweep of the Yankees. First time in Yankee Stadium since 2008. And then, of course, they got the 2 out of 3 from Texas, losing the opener of the series on Thursday. With that unusual off day on Friday, it helped the Tigers. Thanks to the World Cup game, they played Saturday and Sunday in 2 big wins. Now Detroit will have today off, and they'll head home. They'll start a 6-game homestand with 3 games against the Athletics. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Well, it was announced yesterday after the game, the All-Star teams, that is, the reserves, so all the teams are set, and the Tigers now 10 games under 500. They've got 3 people going to the All-Star game. Now, you may be asking, why wasn't somebody like Tariq Skubal going to the All-Star game? Well, he's penciled to start on Sunday against the Phillies, so they're not going to send him in, and he won't be able to pitch in the All-Star game, so that's probably why he didn't get the nod, although he's been injured. He's pitched good. He's pitched very good, but the Tigers got 3 deserving players. Dylan Dingler, 19 home runs, 59 RBIs, one of the best catchers in Major League Baseball, if not in the American League, really playing well. Riley Green, what can you say about Riley Green? 3 straight All-Star games for an outfielder. When was the last time a Tiger outfielder did that? How about a Hall of Famer? That's right, Al Kaline, back in the 60s rather. So some exclusive company for Riley Green. And then Kevin McConaughey, the rookie. He's the first rookie to make the All-Star game like that since, guess who? It's been 50 years. Mark the Bird Fidrych back in 1976. So some big news for the Tigers. They get 3 All-Star selections this week, and so that's going to be fantastic. We'll see if they all get to play. That's going to be the key. Now, in the past, everybody had to get at least one player, and the unwritten rule was that all of them had to get into the game. They did their best to get them into the game. You're going to see a bevy of pitchers, obviously, in the All-Star game, but it's well-deserved honors, as Dylan Dingler, as we mentioned, is probably having one of the best seasons for a catcher in the American League. 19 home runs, 59 RBIs. Just the way he handles the pitchers behind the plate for the Tigers. His challenge rate on balls and strikes, I think, is third best in the American League or in the major leagues. So he's got that going for him. Really, indeed, deserved to be on the All-Star team. And then Riley Green is really tearing it up as of late. His average right at 292 right now. Who knows, he could be at 300, which is a rarity anymore in Major League Baseball. He's got double digits home runs, 14, I believe, for Riley Green, so he's right up there. And, of course, the rookie phenom, Kevin McConaughey. He's making the All-Star team as well, as now he's inched his way up. Again, he started out really hot for the Tigers, kind of cooled off a little bit, but now he's back to his old ways in his rookie season. Well-deserved honor in the infield, playing stellar defensively, too, for the Tigers. So 3 All-Stars being named to or 3 Tigers, rather, being named to the All-Star team. Kevin McConaughey, Riley Green, and Dylan Dingler, much deserved honors. Well, we read this afternoon, I had to bring this up. We've talked about ad nauseum. What would the Tigers do at the deadline? Are they going to be buyers? Are they going to be sellers? Now, when you have a road trip like this, now you start to think they might not be sellers at the trade deadline. I know it's early, and I know there's still only 10 games under 500. But we talked about it. In the American League Central right now, Cleveland and Chicago keep beating each other up. Detroit did gain a couple of games on both teams. Now they're 7.5 games out of first place in the American League Central. It's not insurmountable by any stretch. We saw what the Guardians did last year to our Tigers. And now they gained a game on the Texas Rangers with taking 2 out of 3 from the Rangers for the wild card spot. Now they're only 5 games out. So you ask, with this momentum, why would Detroit want to sell? Well, the name on everybody's list right now, obviously, is Tarik Skubal. Bob Nightingale reported on Sunday afternoon the Astros are now interested in Tarik Skubal. Who wouldn't be, right? Well, now you got to ask yourself, what are you going to give up for Tarik Skubal? If you think that what are these teams willing to give up for him? What should the Tigers ask for? If Skubal pitches well this week, he's going to get 2 big starts. He's going to really put himself in prime position at the trade deadline should the Tigers decide to trade him. So we thought about it with the Houston Astros since they were looking at a potential. First of all, we thought about Kevin Alvarez, the outfielder. He's their number 1 prospect for the Astros, and he's hitting the cover off the ball. He's in A ball, so his ETA right now isn't 2029, but he's the number 1. He is the number 1 prospect in the Astros organization. He's only 19 years old, so we'll keep an eye on him. But I'll tell you what, he's the real deal. He's got raw power. He's 6'4". He's got speed. He's got everything you could ask for. And he's going to get thicker, obviously, once he gets through the system and bulks up a little bit. Yeah, he's like I said, he's quick. He's got great range in the outfield. So keep an eye on Kevin Alvarez. And how about if you want to go for a pitcher to replace him, someone that might be called up early? The Astros may want to call this guy up in August, so he may not be touchable. But if you're going to get somebody like Skubal, I'm looking at Ethan Pecco, a right-handed pitcher. He's in AAA right now for the Astros. He's got a fastball right about 98. It touches a flat approach angle, and boy, I'll tell you what, that helps the bat miss. So keep an eye on that. His slider's good. His fastball's his big pitch. His control is decent. It's getting better, but they forecast for him potentially right now to be a 4th starter for the Astros at call-up time or potentially next year. So if the Astros are looking to get Skubal, they're going to have to pay the price. I would say at least Pecco and Alvarez. Alvarez could be a starter for the Tigers in the pennant race if they decide to sell Skubal. But I beg your pardon, Pecco would be the starter for the Tigers. Maybe as a 4th or 5th starter, who knows. But he's ready to go to the big leagues right now. Alvarez is the number 1 prospect for the Astros. He would be good down the road. But again, looking for bats, the Tigers can always use them. They're starting to heat up right now. but they could always use them. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. Okay, finally, we mentioned Detroit's got a day off today as the Athletics, don't call me Oakland Athletics, are in town now, or starting on Tuesday for 3 games. Tarik Skubal, Melton, and Valdez. Those are going to be your starters for the Tigers on this trip against the I beg your pardon, on this 3-game set for the Tigers against the Oakland Athletics. Big series for Detroit. They got to keep the momentum going. At minimum, they got to take 2 out of 3 from the Athletics. That would put them 9 games under 500 with the Phillies coming to town. Now with the 6-game homestand, you got to get the bats. You got to get them in. You got to get the bats, keep going. The pitching, everything's got to keep clicking. Momentum now. Detroit's got a little bit of momentum. Since June 1st, Detroit leads the major leagues, by the way, in home runs. They got to keep that up as well. So again, Skubal on the mound, and then you got Melton and Valdez against the Athletics. On paper, it looks pretty good for the Tigers. We'll keep an eye on that as well. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Tigers Daily. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. We want to thank everybody who's taken time out to watch us over the last few days, and subscribe to our YouTube channel again, which is Tigers Daily. So until next time, Captain Lou saying keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. So long.